Hi everyone. I hope I am live from wherever you guys are watching me from. Sorry, today it took me a long time to come online. It's been one of those days where it's been slipping out of me as I try and get closer and closer to the end of the day. The weekends are like that, I guess. So I got pulled from here to there with Anand and meetings, and I could not come down to talking to you guys till the end of the day. Even now, I'm sitting at home, and there's pure chaos waiting for me outside because my kids are waiting for me. So I hope I'm audible, and I'm okay. Um, so, am I audible, or am I talking to myself? Okay. If someone can tell me I'm audible, then I'll continue. Yes, okay, great. I am audible. So, what did I want to talk about first? First thing which I wanted to talk about this whole idea, notion. நம்ம திருப்பி அதை சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கோம் that we'll invest so much money அது 1 crore ஆயிடும். We'll invest this and it'll become so much money, 1 crore, 5 crores, 6 crores. But இதுல வந்து one thing which we always keep forgetting about is that we forget inflation. And I put up a post on Instagram about that, about the power of inflation, what happens thanks to inflation. இன்ஃப்ளேஷனால் என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா, நீங்கள் நினைக்கிறது வந்து நடக்காது. கையில் 1 கோடி நீங்கள் கஷ்டப்பட்டு ஏர்ன் பண்ணி சேவ் பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா, அந்த 1 கோடியோட சக்தி வந்து கம்மியாகிட்டே இருக்குது. டே பை டே, மினிட் பை மினிட், செகண்ட் பை செகண்ட். எங்கள் அண்ணன் வந்து சக்கரை வந்து தண்ணியில் போடுறது மாதிரி சொல்லுவார். யூ கேன் லுக் அட் இட் எனி வே யூ வாண்ட். இட்ஸ் கான்ஸ்டன்ட்லி எரோடிங். So, for example, 1 crore in 10 years will have a purchasing power of 51 lakhs today. 15 years later, it drops down to 36 lakhs. Today's 1 crore is good as 36 lakhs 15 years from now. 20 years from now, right? 1 crore is as good as 26 lakhs. A lot of you, I had conducted a poll. I said, imagine buying Thar, Mahindra Thar Rocks. Today it's being sold for 13, 14 lakhs. 30 years from now, you'll have to pay 1 crore for that same car. And a lot of you were astonished that 1 கோடியா மஹிந்திரா தாருக்கு. ஆனால் உடனே அருண் மாரி யோசிக்காதீங்க. இப்போ ஒரு தாரை வாங்கி வச்சோன்னா 30 இயர்ஸில் அது 1 கோடிக்கு விற்கலாம். அப்படிலாம் விற்க முடியாது. அதெல்லாம் ஒரு இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் இல்லை. ஸோ கீப் தட் இன் மைண்ட் that constantly we are fighting inflation when we are making investments. ஆனால் தான் it is important when we look at equity that we try and find these companies which are real gems, which will become massive companies later on. And that is where we have to learn the skill of reading and analyzing a business. வெறும் ஸ்டாக்ஸில் வந்து பேலன்ஸ் ஷீட் படிச்சுட்டு டிஸ்கவுண்டட் கேஷ் ஃப்ளோலாம் பார்த்துட்டு we need to understand what is that business, அந்த இண்டஸ்ட்ரி என்ன, அந்த இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில் என்ன நடக்குது, அதில் வளர்கிறதுக்கு என்ன வாய்ப்பு, அதெல்லாம் புரியணும். அதெல்லாம் சேர்ந்து புரிஞ்சாதான் we can make a calculated guess. ஓகே, இந்த கம்பெனியில் நம்ம ஒரு 1 lakh இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணோன்னா ஒரு 30 years from now அந்த 1 lakh வந்து 15 crores ஆகும். So we want something that multiplies by a factor of 100, not a factor of 5, not a factor of 10, something that multiplies large. அது மாரி நம்ம பார்க்கும்போது தான் then we can look at something substantial in terms of growth. There are companies which have done this in the past. இது புதுசு நடக்காத காரியம் இல்லை, இது புதுசாக யோசிச்சது இல்லை. இதுதான் 100 times bagger mangala multi bagger, whatever you want to call it, whichever way you want to call it. So that kind of companies are there and we have to learn to find them. Case in point, you can take number what's that guy who makes bullet, Escher. If you take that company, for example, screen will open panama, Eicher Motors. If you see Eicher Motors over the last 10 years, it has grown by wait, let me pull it up. Okay, so if I had invested in Eicher Motors, let's say in 2013, where 400 rupees, 500 rupees, 300 rupees, Today I'll be looking at a factor of it's trading at 5,400. Correct. So the question is, அப்போ வந்து நம்ம PE ratio பார்த்து வாங்கியிருப்போமா? That is the question. All right, because at that price point at July 2013 வந்து it was trading at a PE of 31, which is a price of July 3rd. இங்க இருக்கு. July, Feb, March. Right. July 31, it was 378 rupees Escher Motors. It was at a price to earnings of 31. We would have said it is expensive. But if you see the company and the product it has and the market it dominates, the market share it has, it is very unique. So, அதை அப்படி அனலைஸ் பண்ணதுக்கு கற்றுக்கணும் நம்ம. So, that is the importance that to beat inflation is not only important, but we need to beat it handsomely. And that is what you need to learn. So, 100 bagger stock is a multiple of 100 times on some of the Mary. That's like putting 1 lakh, for every 1 lakh, get 1 crore. But it's just not about how it grows, it's also about how fast it grows. Because if it takes 30 years to grow, make that 1 lakh turns to 1 crore, takes 30 years, then effectively you only mean 13 lakhs because of inflation. So we need to get there much faster. If you get there in 15 years, you have 36 lakhs. So if you hit it in 10 years, then it becomes 51 lakhs in today's wealth. And that is where real wealth starts unlocking. So we have to look at this differently when you're looking at stocks. So yes, we are doing tiffin coffee range investing. Yes, we are patas list kaila vechinnu pannirukkom. But I want you to graduate. சரிங்களா, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இயர் உட்காந்து பண்ணி முடிக்க போகிறோம். we're coming close to finishing our first year and we're going to graduate to second year. When we're graduating to second year, I also need you to slowly look at analyzing and spreading your wings and taking calculated judgment calls. So I strongly encourage you to start reading about industries, sectors which you like. If you like cars, read about car companies, what happens, how do these companies grow. Look for historical literature on this and read. If you are interested in, let's say, software, read about software companies. How do these companies grow? I don't want you to focus on or a specific company la focus பண்ணாதீங்க, but start learning about the whole industry as a whole. Because what you need to understand is first the sector. In the sector la only if you learn, and then only you can find this, because these are very rare. These companies which go from 1 lakh to 1 crore in a short span of time, let's say in 10 years time, like in the case of Escher Motors, which is done remarkably well, you won't find it very common. There are only around 3% of the companies which are listed which will do this. The skill is which 3% and which are these companies can do this. In the last 15 years, only 17 companies in India have pulled off this kind of growth. So they did not start glamorous. They were not the market darlings. Many of them were unimpressive early metrics, sales, growth, profit, ROC, nothing to be happy about. But they transformed quietly and they became great companies. And that is what is important, to learn this kind of valuation. So first is, of course, valuation of these companies. How are these companies? They're a big, market, and how do we look at this? Market crashes, of course, happen. When market crashes happen, it gives us a very easy entry point, low entry point, and higher upside. Yes, that is one, looking at valuations. Rendad on the sector. Structurally, certain sectors are slow growing sectors, some are very fast growing sectors. Sectors could be like chemicals, capital goods, FMCG, autos, finance, IT. So you have to see unga sector ku tailwinds and that will give it a boost. Headwinds are things that slow it down. Like what Donald Trump is currently doing in the US. நேற்று கூட அவர் வந்து ஒரு ஸ்பீச்சில் போய் சொன்னார், AI கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் கண்டக்ட் பண்ணிட்டு, how Indians, he doesn't want Indians to come to US and work. All that are headwinds, and all the things he's been doing are headwinds to IT sector. So that is why we are pausing to see what happens to IT sector, even if valuations are dropping, to see structurally what is happening in the sector and how as we as investors நம்ம எப்படி இதை பார்க்கணும். So this is what you have to keep in mind. But there are certain traits for these companies which I told you about, these 17 companies which have pulled off. In the beginning, பார்க்கும்போது they don't make huge profits, they don't have a very big market capitalization, and they're very boring, but they have a very strong business model and a very capable management. These are the most two important things in a company becoming massive. One, strong business model. And the business model நீங்க நன்னா புரிஞ்சுக்கணும், and you should understand that sector, like I said. Second is the management should be capable. So that is also historically, looking back, it's very easy to say what Narayan Murthy managed to do with Infosys. It's very easy to see it. But going forward, who's going to be in today's India, who will be the next Narayan Murthy, is very hard and very difficult to see. That is where your skill comes. This will not come easy. And it's just not numbers alone. You have to have insight, you have to have patience, and sometimes you have to have the courage to be contrarian. So these are the things I want you to start slowly thinking about and learning. As we grow and as we graduate into the next sector, I mean the next year, as we get to the second year of different coffee range investing, slowly we have to learn how to analyze a sector, how to look at, a stock that may grow. I'm not saying we should immediately start investing. There is no rush. Immediately don't have FOMO. உடனே வந்து இந்த மாரி கம்பெனிலலாம் நான் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணான்னு கேட்காதீங்க. No. What I want you to do is, I want you to start studying and learning. So this is what the main impetus of today's video was. Second, Tata Chemicals. Tata Chemicals, what is so special about Tata Chemicals is a question a lot of you are asking. Tata Chemicals, there is something very special. There is a company with a hidden gem inside it. First of all, Tata Chemicals or இது பார்த்தீங்கனாலே, of course, soda ash company, the main thing, and the bioenzymes they're doing, and a lot of green chemistry they've started getting into, especially green silica and all that. And UK, they shut down their non-viable soda ash, but they pivoted and they're doing pharma grade biocarbonates and salts in the UK. US, Wyoming, they're into some projects there, and what you call India, they're also doubling down in soda ash and bicarbonate production. But the real hidden part in Tata Chemicals is their holding of Rallis. Rallisன்னு ஒரு Indian company இருக்கு. It is a bio AG tech company. They are doing a lot of innovative things in agriculture and agriculture related products, and they have something known as SeedSure, which is a digital platform that now tracks 100% of cotton seed is traceable in it. And the amount of work which is there to be a value to be unlocked in Rallis is the reason why, if you look at it, Tata Chemicals can be considered of value in the market alone. Because if you look at their holdings in Rallis through Tata Chemicals, what Tata Chemicals is holding in Rallis, it gives a discount to the cash, discount to the price, discounted cash flow, intrinsic value in பார்க்கும்போது, it has a lot of upside. Because the market is only looking at Tata Chemicals as a individual company. But when you see Tata Chemicals holding in Rallis, it is something for you to pay attention to, because the stock is trading at a PE of 91.1. And if you look at the 10-year average, it is at 9.7. 9.7 lane is 91.1 because the earnings have come down dramatically in Tata Chemicals. But if you see it's holding in Rallis and what Rallis can offer it in terms of earnings and growth, Rallis itself is trading at 40 PE, and if you look at its 10-year average, its earning has been going up. They had a rough period during ஒரு விஷ்ணு ஃபோன் பண்ணுறேன். ஏன் விஷ்ணு இதில் என் ஃபோனில் வந்திருக்கா? 1 minute, I'm live, man. Hang on.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you don't notice these things because you don't worry about me, man.
I see.
Okay, 003. Okay. 036278.
03.
Okay, bye. Yeah. So anyway, so if you look at it in that terms, I would say Tata Chemicals is worth considering the position it has in Rallis. Rallis, if you were looking at Rallis and you've been waiting to buy Rallis, you might as well look at Tata Chemicals. Tata Chemicals gives you a 53% holding of Harish Kannan. Right, man. What are you going to do with that OTP? Some random number which I gave you. Enjoy it. So anyway, if you look at Rallis and you've been thinking of investing in Rallis, Tata Chemicals itself is a better option because Tata Chemicals invest panningena you get both Tata Chemicals and Rallis. The pain in Tata Chemicals will be cyclical. This business which they are in, the soda ash business, is cyclical. That means it runs through a cycle, and right now they're in a down cycle. So there will be downward pressure on the stock price, and it'll give you an opportunity for looking at Tata Chemicals. Now, as far as today's market was concerned, the market was negative predominantly. Everything was beaten. If we look at it from starting from what was most negative was Spandana was most negative, Tejas was negative, then Natco Pharma is down back below, well below 900, this is 967. IDFC was down by 3%, and IndusInd Bank is down. ITC Hotels is also down. Manappuram is down. 1 second. Hello? Okay, drums are going to start. I don't know if you guys can hear me now anymore. So, I have a temple next to me. Am I still audible? I don't know if I'm still audible. Wait, let me get online. Am I audible? All clear? Yes, okay, great. Noise cancellation on these are very good then. So anyway, cool. So if you look at it, Manappuram was down 2%, Infosys is down, everything across the board has been down, and Jyoti Labs is down, and the Nifty itself was down 1%. So today was a great opportunity, okay, to invest. I hope you guys invested in Tiffin Coffee range and you were not carried away. I could not decide what to invest in today, so I went ahead and picked up some more ITC. Like I said, ITC வந்து நேத்தே வாங்கினேன், இன்னைக்கு வந்து திருப்பி ITC வாங்கியிருக்கேன் ஏன்னா I could not decide on what to buy. And ITC was at 409, and that was a least corrected stock. It was only down less than 10%, 0.10%. So I am split about it. Dr. Reddy, of course, grew out of all the stocks which we are looking at, and Zydus Life Science grew. நிறைய பேர் என்ன கேட்டிங்கன்னா, நேற்று எங்கள் அண்ணா வந்து Zydus Life Science பற்றி பேசினார், ஏதோ போனஸ் 1:2 அப்படின்னு டவுட் இருந்தது உங்களுக்கு. அவர் போனஸ் பற்றி பேசலை எங்கள் அண்ணா. எங்கள் அண்ணா என்ன சொன்னார்னா, நீங்கள் Zydus லைஃப் வாங்கினீங்க, உங்களுக்கு 2 கம்பெனி ஒரே விலைக்கு கிடைக்குது. நான் வந்து டாடா கெமிக்கல்ஸ் பற்றி சொன்னது மாரி தான், ரேலிஸ் வாங்குறது போல் நீங்கள் டாடா கெமிக்கல்ஸே வாங்கலாம். டாடா கெமிக்கல்ஸ் வாங்கினீங்கன்னா யூ ஆர் கெட்டிங் 2 companies. So that is what he was talking about Zydus. நீங்கள் Zydus Life Science வாங்கினீங்கன்னா you're not only getting Zydus Life Science, you're also getting Zydus Wellness. So that is the reason why he said please consider Zydus Life, because it is at a good price. Zydus Wellness வந்து இட்ஸ் டிஃபிகல்ட் டு பை, ஏன்னா விலை எங்கேயோ இருக்குது, 2000 ரூபாய் இருக்குது. ஆனால் இதே வந்து நீங்கள் Zydus Life Science வாங்கினீங்கன்னா 2 கம்பெனியும் கிடைக்குது. தமிழில் சொல்கிறது மாரி ஒரே கல்ல 2 மாங்காய். ஸோ தட் இஸ் அட்வான்டேஜ் ஆஃப் பையிங் Zydus. That was the question you guys had. Now, as far as, sir, your ITC stock, how many do you have? ITC நிறையா இருக்குடா என்கிட்ட. Manoj, because whenever I have doubt, I keep buying ITC. So ITC, I have lots and lots of ITC. ஏன்னா எனக்கு என்ன வாங்கணும் தெரியல நான் போய் ஐடிசி வாங்கியிருப்பேன். So that happened to me today. I rather have a day where there are very few stocks to look at than like today where நம்ம பட்டாஸ் லிஸ்ட்னு சொல்லும் போது நிறைய ஸ்டாக்ஸ் விழுந்திருக்கு. இன்னைக்கு நிறைய ஸ்டாக்ஸ் விழுந்திருக்கிறதுனால everything looked very incredibly tasty. So today was a tough day for me because it was very hard to choose. I wonder how all of you chose. நீங்க வந்து was it easy for you to choose today, or were you guys finding it hard to choose like I did? I'm curious about that. Anyway, next thing which I wanted to hit on today was discounted cash flow. A lot of you have been asking me about discounted cash flow and how I go around calculating it. So I thought I'll quickly talk about discounted cash flow with respect to Prestige. Because Prestige is on a pacing and other discounted cash flow, what was happening is what I wanted to talk about when I had spoken. Man, it is so loud here. You guys won't believe how loud it is here. It's incredible that this mic is like not picking the noise up. Anyway, okay. Where is my discounted cash flow? Okay, so what is discounted cash flow? Okay, let's first understand what discounted cash flow is. Okay. Let me arrange my screen so I can see the comments, because I want to be able to see the comments as I'm talking. There we go. There we go. Right. So now I'm able to see the comments. Okay. Tejas Network. Yes, I'll talk about Tejas Network. Let me just finish discounted cash flow first, okay? So imagine you're buying a money-making machine, like a business. So you want to know how much money this machine is going to give you in the future. That's all it is. Discounted cash flow is about what will this company in the future, what kind of cash will it be able to earn. And although the name itself, discounted cash flow. So discounted cash flow, if you look at DCF, its short form, is the future money this will be able to give you maybe 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So you know what is the really company going to be worth later based on what it's worth now. So that is what it is. So there's a textbook version of discounted. It's known as the standard discounted cash flow method. That is what I want to talk about first. First is to estimate the future cash flow, so your profit of the company, keeping in mind and keeping it reinvested. So you pick something known as a discount rate. This is usually based on risk-free Indian bond rate color, and you take risky stocks such as the beta stocks, and you find an equity premium risk. So taking any one of these as your discount rates. Usually people use the risk-free rate. Indian bond rate is usually what is used. Then the discounting the cash flow. So loud here, man. I can't hear myself. This is incredible. Okay, discounted future cash flows. Okay, using the whoa. I think I should do this on another day when I can actually hear myself thinking. Am I really audible, you guys? I can't believe I'm this audible. Anyway, the drums are really loud. Wait. Where is it? 1 second. So there's a simple formula which we can use. Okay, there's a simple formula, and I can't read out the formula because the formula, you can find it online, and if you Google it, you'll see the formula. There is something known as the free cash flow in the year. Wow, this is too loud. I think I'll do the discounted cash flow on another day, guys. This is just way too loud here for me. I'm not able to hear myself think. Let me try to go get something to put in my ear at least. Hang on 1 second. Am I still audible? Okay. I think, yeah, I'll do the discounted cash flow tomorrow because I really can't hear myself with this temple noise next to me. I did not expect the temple to be going on today this late. But anyway, I'll do the discounted cash flow tomorrow. Let me just at least do some questions before I have to sign off because it's just way too loud for me. I don't even know what temple this is and what temple season. What season is it now for temples to start banging away this early, man? Okay, let's talk Shalom. Finally, a BCom student need a laptop to work. Should I sell stock or wait? Upskill activity, income first, earn more, invest more. Thoughts. Shalom. If you're a final BCom student, you need a laptop for work. You can just rent one. You don't need to buy a laptop to work, right? So look at renting a laptop. That should be more than enough to to get you through this time when you need the laptop. Let me see if I can brighten this. Okay, so Shalom, I would advise you, if I was you, I would rent a laptop. நிறைய பேர் வந்து வீடியோ எடிட்டிங் பண்ணுறேன் எனக்கு லேப்டாப் மேக் புக் தேவைப்படுதுங்கிறாங்க. So I tell them, please rent. I even advise a lot of my editor friends who are freelancing in the office to rent a laptop, a MacBook Pro. It costs as cheap as 500 rupees to 700 rupees to rent the laptop. So Shalom, start renting, start making the money, save, and then you can definitely buy. Shiva Karthik, I am 27, investing in Patas list around 20k a month in TCR. I'm also investing in Nippon India large cap fund in SIP. Shall I continue or shall I stop and wait? No, Shiva Karthik, நான் வந்து if I was you, that is, நான் உங்களா இருந்தேன்னா நான் வந்து லார்ஜ் கேப் ஃபண்டெல்லாம் போட மாட்டேன் இப்போது. நான் வெறும் பட்டாஸ் லிஸ்ட்டை பார்த்துட்டு மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்டில் போட்டு தான் ஆனேன்னா நிஃப்டி 50ல் போட்டுன்னு போவேன். I will not continue இந்த நிப்பான் லார்ஜ் கேப்பில். லார்ஜ் கேப்பில் நான் வந்து ப்ராஃபிட்டில் இருந்தேன்னா நான் வெளில எக்ஸிட் ஆகிடுவேன். வெளில எடுத்துகிட்டு திருப்பி பட்டாஸ் லிஸ்ட்டில் இல்லாட்டா நிஃப்டி இண்டெக்ஸில் பாசிவாக போட்டுன்னு போவேன். Bhaskar, I want to talk to you personally about my finance planning. Okay, Bhaskar. You messaged me on WhatsApp, Bhaskar, saying Bhaskar. And yesterday I managed to get Noel Anthony sorted out. The other person I could not manage, but I will try. I think it was Mahesh RK. Yeah, Mahesh RK. And here's his name. Okay. It's almost 52. HTBFS is almost 52 weeks, likely to break into IPO price. Should I consider below the IPO price? If you're looking at it in the long term, Mahesh, there's nothing you need to do. You can hold on to it. Long term is 10-15 years. If it's less than 10-15 years, then I would suggest you look at moving it to HDFC, like my brother said. Oh wow, it's become quiet. Thank God. Is it fair value? Is fair value different from screener's intrinsic value? Screener intrinsic value is calculated differently than the standard model. That's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about screener's model equation compared to the standard model and show you that each model is different and you take so many assumptions into it, and based on your assumptions you do discounted cash flow. And if you look at it like that, it really is of no use doing discounted cash flow method. Other than that, looking at the chart, you might as well say looking at a graph, இது மாதிரி போயின்னு இருக்கு, ஸோ in future இப்படி போகலாம், அது மாதிரி தான் அது. Unfortunately, because of the noise, didn't have the mental bandwidth to discuss it. I'll try and discuss it if the noise stops, otherwise I'll discuss it tomorrow. And let's see what are the questions I can get done before the noise picks up again. Manoj Kumar Manoj. Yesterday can I search market coupling? You're looking at currencies. I don't know. I would not look at currencies and play with international currencies. And because what you're talking about is IEX and the Indian Energy Exchange. பத்தி நீங்க பேசுறீங்க. And Anand, I had asked him about IEX and he said it is better not to touch that. And I agree with him. In the past 5 days, it has come down drastically, and this is something I would not touch. So if you're thinking about IEX, I've actually done a video with Anand on that, which I suggest you go see. And we spoke about this, and IEX is something we will not invest. Nanga panadilla. So that is something I wanted to share with you. Vasudevan, do you think 100 baggers you mentioned for the next 30, 40 years will reside in these industries? Nuclear, yes. I also have been talking to my brother about where will the next 100 bag company come from. நானும் அதான் பேசியிருந்தேன் அவனோட. And I feel energy sector is a sector where you're going to see a lot of opportunities in terms of a 100 bagger. Also in computing, in silicon, you're going to see, in semiconductors, you're going to see opportunities, and in communications. These are the three sectors I would say. There are companies which are sitting where we are not able to see them with all the noise, which can turn into a 100 bagger, which is in power, silicon and semiconductors. And I would not say IT as much, because IT is completely gone to one side, skewed to one side. But I would say, in these emerging technologies is something we have to learn to study a lot deeper in and understand. Chandra, thanks, man. Adi Masam. So this is the Adi. Man, it goes through the night. I don't understand why through the night. I need to ask someone who's culturally cued into this. Ask them, why do they need to do it like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the night? I don't know. One of the most common festivals in Tamil Nadu, for Mariamman. Yeah, there is a Mariamman temple opposite. Thanks, man. That gives a lot more clarity. Yeah. So, do you have any plans for a fan meetup in August? Will be Ani Ragan 2087. You can come over to what you call to the office YouTube, and we can catch up. Aniragan anytime. But 25th, 26th, 28th, I'm actually going for a conference to Pondicherry and Bangalore, so I won't be in town. So I'm sorry. I'm only back probably on the 30th or 31st of August is when I'm back. I'm off from 24th August to 31st August. I won't be in Chennai. So if you're anywhere in Pondicherry or Bangalore, sure, we can catch up there. But Bangalore also, I'll be very busy. Sir, you Anand sir bought ITC. How many? ITC in my portfolio is large, man. I would say ITC in my portfolio, in my Tiffin Coffee range portfolio, which I'm doing with you guys, you know how much ITC I'm sitting on. From January, I've been buying ITC in this portfolio. From January, how many ITCs have I bought? I have 103 ITCs. So that's how much I keep buying ITC. Whenever I'm in doubt, I buy ITC. Either ITC or gold are my two go-to stocks if I'm not able to decide. So Hariharan Rajendran, sir, buying daily 4 gold Bs long term is profitable, or buying at bulk and holding? Gold Bs is not an investment, Hariharan Rajendran. Gold Bs is a hedge against inflation and bear market. So உங்களோட போர்ட்ஃபோலியோ ஃபுல்லாக கோல்டில் இருக்கிறது இட்ஸ் நாட் அ குட் ஐடியா. ஐ வுட் சே 5% to 10% கோல்டில் இருக்கட்டும். That means 5 rupees to 10 rupees for every 100 rupees in gold. Rest should be in equity. அதான் அந்த ஹோல் வீடியோ பிகினிங் அதான் நான் பேசியிருந்தேன். மல்டி 100 bagger எப்படிலாம் 10 bagger, 20 bagger, 100 bagger, how to spot them and buy them. Gold will never become a 100 bagger. So keep that in mind. Yes, I saw the NSDL IPO. I'm not considering the NSDL IPO. Anand is also not considering the NSDL IPO. And I don't do IPOs. And Anand also doesn't do IPOs. Narayavati Solir cannot. So we usually tend to stay away from IPOs. And main site which I use, Mahesh, is Screener. Then I use ChatGPT to do any further calculation which I want. Of course, I do check what ChatGPT does. ChatGPT is very good at taking something and digesting it. Yes, Chandra, I'll talk about Tejas. 1 second. Let me finish about the sites I use. So Screener is all that I need. But most of the time, I try and read more about the company. Like, for example, Tata Chemicals. I picked up the annual report and I was reading the complete appendix of Tata Chemicals. Then I saw Rallis. and I saw what all Rallis is doing. So then I went to Rallis. I picked up Rallis because Tata Chemicals owns 53% of Rallis. So then I went and picked up Rallis's annual report last year, and I was diving into that and looked at all their earnings. And that is a very good company. It's doing a lot of good work, making a lot of money, and that gives a lot of value add to Tata Chemicals because of sum of parts. So if a company is invested in another company, you see sum of parts. This is also true for Tata Communications. Tata Communications, if you look at it, there are companies within Tata Communications. And Tata Communications is a company which I should talk about maybe tomorrow or sometime this week. I'll try and talk about, not this week, coming week, I'll talk about Tata Communications. There's something like Tata Chemicals inside Tata Communications which we can talk about. But Tejas Network, the reason why Tata Communications came to my head was because of Tejas Network. Tejas Network பற்றி படிக்கும்போது I deep dived into Tata Communications and how they're both related, which is what I want to talk. Tejas Network, like I've said, is a strategy bet for a long term. இப்போதைக்கு current இதில் பார்க்கும்போது Tejas Network will go through more correction. Prices of Tejas Network might come even below 600, might even go down to 500, I don't know. But இப்போதைக்கு Tejas Network ஏறாது, இங்கேயும் போகாது, இங்கே போனாலும் கீழே தான் போகும். அந்த வலி உங்களால் தாங்க முடியும்னா நீங்கள் டெஃபினட்டாக கன்சிடர் பண்ணலாம். ஆனால் அவங்களால் ஆமாம், எங்கள் அண்ணா ஏன் சொன்னார்னா, இங்கே இப்போ நீங்கள் தேஜஸ் நெட்வொர்க் நான் 800 வாங்கினேன், 700 வாங்கியிருக்கேன், 600 கூட வாங்கலான்னு இருக்கேன். அப்போ நான் வாங்கியிருக்கும் போது ஆவரேஜ் காஸ்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நீங்கள் ஆவரேஜ் காஸ்ட் நீங்களாம் ரொம்ப பார்க்குறீங்க. ஸோ இட் வில் சேயிங் 100 rupee loss, 200 rupee loss, 300 rupee loss, 500 rupee loss, and it will really daunt you. You cannot say, okay, in the long term. Most of you are not in that headspace, and it's not a risk worth taking. பிகாஸ் எதுக்கு நான் அந்த ரிஸ்க் எடுக்கிறேன்னு நீங்கள் தெரியாமல் இருக்கீங்க. ஸோ அதனால் நான் தேஜஸ் நெட்வொர்க் பற்றியும் டாடா கம்யூனிகேஷன்ஸ் பற்றியும் ரெண்டு பற்றியும் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணி பேசுகிறேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் ட்ரை அண்ட் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் why I'm looking at Tejas Network. Hopefully that will give some clarity. பட் இப்போதைக்கு ஷார்ட் டேர்முக்கு ஃபார் த நெக்ஸ்ட் ஃபியூ இயர்ஸ் தேஜஸ் நெட்வொர்க் எங்கேயும் போகாது. என்ன இருந்தாலும் இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் அடி தான் வாங்கும். மேபி நெக்ஸ்ட் குவார்ட்டர் இட் கேன் இம்ப்ரூவ், earnings will improve. But in terms of real growth, Tejas Network is going to take a long time. So the only reason a lot of you are asking me about it is because Tata and Sons, through their holding company, have a huge position in Tejas Network. They own, most of the company is owned by them. So that is the same reason why I'm also looking at it. But I'll talk about in comparison with Tata Communications tomorrow, like how I did with Tata Chemicals, and explain why I'm looking at Tata Communications and Tejas. Tomorrow I made a note of that. And of course, discounted cash flow also, I'll talk about it tomorrow, which I could not do today. Vasudevan, Tokyo Electron and ASML is good. Especially ASML, recently it went through a correction because of the results, and it is, at that time, I think I picked up some ASML at that point of time, and the correction which was last week, I think. I don't know where the prices moved after that day. That day when I saw the correction, I picked up some ASML. So Tokyo Electron is also a great company. I spoke about it on Be Rich. Where என்ன இருக்கு? Arvind Ravi, I'm 30. I have quite a few amount in equity. Want to build a home by taking a loan. Should I sell my shares so the amount taken in the loan? Yes. நீங்கள் இப்போ தான் வீடு கட்டி ஆகணும்னு இருக்குன்னா அரவிந்த், ப்ளீஸ் டேக் வாட் எவர் யூ ஹவ் இன்வெஸ்டட் அண்ட் reduce your loan amount. Please reduce your loan amount as much as you can. I know it will sound counterintuitive. First, I will say don't build. If you build that house, I'm assuming you're going to live in that house. Please do not build a house to rent it. It won't make sense. So if you are going to build a house which you're going to live inside, then I'll say okay, but try and reduce your loan as much as possible. If you can do it without taking a loan, great. But if you take a loan, remember you don't own that house. The bank owns that house, and they are landlord, and you're paying rent to them. And that is the most fundamental thing which people don't wrap their head around. The EMI is not an EMI. It is actually rent, which you're paying for that property to the bank. And the bank at the end, after enjoying all that money and earning off your back, gives it back to you when it's an old property, 20-year-old property, 30-year-old property. That's what you get as a trade-off. So think about it before you decide to dive into it. But definitely try and not take a loan and lower the loan amount by selling as much as you can and investing that into your property rather than taking a loan. No, Mahesh RK, I would not say you should put pharma stocks on hold. IT stocks, yes, you can put it on holding. NSL currently considering the uncertainty around the tariffs, pharma stocks are hold the medicines are required. Okay. Trump, as much as he hates it, he can't run away from it. Especially elderly Americans who have voted him into power will definitely need medicines. There may be cost negotiation of the price of the medicine, but the medicines themselves will be required. So don't put pharma on hold. I would say we should put IT on hold because IT has far more uncertainties than pharma. Pharma's pain will be short term, whatever it is. Sandil Narayan, Chennai beach morning. Yes, I will try and do. I don't know this coming month of August. I'm completely swamped with work. Maybe sometime in September will be the earliest I'll be able to do. Meeting on the beach. What other questions can I answer today? Sasi Kumar Subramaniam. Sir, I have a doubt. I'm thinking about a plan. There's a piece of land in my father's name. If it can be sold, I would like to invest an amount in a good bond to generate. Yes, that's a good idea, Sasi Kumar. If you're able to liquidate that piece of land at a good price, which you're happy with, then you can look at investing that in a bond and taking that as a passive income, which is a good idea. What else? Anything else which I can answer? Okay, that covers mostly all the questions I had. Let me see if there's any questions on Instagram. Instagram. Okay, cool. On Instagram, Q&A for today. Why Ionian recommends stocks like Phenolics cables in their stock? Well, that you should ask. Okay, that's a fair point, Karpuswamy. 27 of you have asked this. Why does Ionian list differ from what Anand is talking on the videos? Call your RM and say, RM, why is this happening? Karpuswamy, and I'm sure your RM will give you an answer. If your RM does not give you a satisfactory answer, come back to me and I'll get you the RM and I'll find out why they're not giving you the right answer. Achu Ramanas, how to analyze a stock using screener, a live demo. Oh, a live demo, is that screen sharing I have to do? Okay, let me try and do this, but probably next week. I don't have, first I have to finish the discounted cash flow. Maybe I can do that as a live screen also. Let me figure this out. ITC results. Yeah, ITC results. Anand has spoken about it on Money Page. You can see that. Why 1 crore is not enough in some is why 1 crore is not enough is more appropriate. Ram Ganesh, I'm not saying 1 crore is not enough. What I'm saying is you have a thinking that I'll invest now and 15 years from now, 10 years from now, என்கிட்ட ஒரு கோடி இருக்கும். 10 years from now, ஒரு கோடி நீங்கள் என்ன நினச்சிருக்கீங்கன்னா டுடே ஒரு கோடி இவ்வளோ இருக்கும், அந்த சக்தி என்கிட்ட இருக்கும். இல்லை. 10 years from now, 1 crore, today's 1 crore is worth 50 lakhs. So then what you need is you need 2 crores 10 years from now to feel like you have 1 crore today. That is what I was talking about. All the SIP calculations that you do, please factor in inflation. If you're not factoring in inflation, you will not be able to, invest. Or you will invest, but you won't reach your goal. DCF calculation in Pragan I'll do tomorrow. It's just way too noisy here. I'm not able to think at all. When you could update your TCR. Yes, I do also miss those days when Anand did not give me so much of work, but I was able to update TCR. Today, I almost missed my opportunity to invest because I was so busy. And that is what I mean. That's how life gets you. Today I've not even managed to do my 10,000 steps. After I finish talking to you guys, I have to go do my workout and do my 10,000 steps. So you can imagine that. But I'm glad it's Friday and my kids don't have school tomorrow. So that is at least a relief for me. But I do miss those days. I wish I did have the amount of free time I used to enjoy. சதீஷ் நாட்கோ டாக்டர் ரெடி இவ்வளோ ஷேர் வாங்கினா போனால் 20 இயர்ஸில் ஒரு கோட் அச்சீவ் பண்ணலாம். நோ அதர் ஷேர் அப்படிலாம் நீங்கள் சதீஷ் வாங்க முடியாது. நீங்கள் நாட்கோ டாக்டர் ரெடி நீங்கள் வாங்கிட்டு 19th இயர் வந்து 1 crore இருக்கும், 20th இயர் வந்து டபால்னு ஏதோ மார்க்கெட் கரெக்ஷன் ஃபார்மாவில் கரெக்ஷன் வந்து உயர்ந்துருச்சுன்னா நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ண போகிறீங்க? ஸோ ப்ளீஸ் அப்படிலாம் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி வச்சுக்காதீங்க. What your thing should be is at least have 10 companies which you're investing in. That's what I would say. You don't have to have 20, 30, 40, 50 companies to invest பண்ணணும். ஒரு 10 company நீங்கள் choose பண்ணி கேர்ஃபுல்லாக இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணிங்கன்னா then what you're saying is achievable in 20 years. பட் ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க, 20 yearsல வந்து ஒரு கோடி இனியார் ஒரு கோடி வந்து it will not be worth 1 crore then. Like I said, inflation போட்டு அதை அடித்து ஒன்றும் இல்லாமல் ஆகிடும். So keep that in mind. That's why I said I assumed a lot of you are 20 years old who are interacting with Instagram. That's why I said 30 years. When you reach my age, which is 30 years, would be when you're 50 years old, a Mahindra Tar Rocks will cost you 1 crore. So keep that in mind. Satyabama Kumar, Milky Mist IPO நாங்கள் போடலை, நான் தொடமாட்டேன், நான் பார்க்கவும் இல்லை. So sorry. Ash 1294, please share a list of shares that you have potential upside more which right now than penny stock and or under. Well, Ash, I do not share this kind of lists. I'm sorry. You will have to do the hard work of finding these companies by researching and understanding the business. I'm not here to tell you to buy this or that or sell this or that. Especially penny stocks and undervalued penny stocks. I don't believe in them. I'm not a penny stock investor. I look for companies which have a great business model and have a great management and which are discounted a little bit. If they're deeply discounted, I'm very happy. Like I think Tata Motors is very deeply discounted for what the potential of the company is. So that is the way I look at it. I'm interested in bonds, happy saying. Fixed return. But I want to accumulate the returns and reinvest it without paying additional tax. You don't have to pay additional tax. Happy. நீங்கள் வந்து பாண்டில் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணி நீங்கள் ஸ்மார்ட்டாக இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணி if you file your papers, you'll even get the tax deducted at source, the 10% also, you can get it back from the government. And if you reinvest it, as long as you're not selling your equity, you won't have to pay any tax. You only have to pay when you sell. Okay, there's positive attitude quotes. Let's put up a long thing. Sir, I have a question with respect to Jyoti Labs. Ujala has been their strong brand dominating the white segment for the past 4 decades. Their second best brand is EXO and Prill, which has been strong present in Tier 2, Tier 3. Since we only have 2-3 strong brands which have good dominance with respect to market share, why do we consider Jyoti Labs? There are other brands like Henko, Margo, but its market share seems pretty less compared to its peers. Yes, I agree. But this analysis, when we looked at the price point of where Jyoti Labs is and the market brand presence it has and the earning potential, it made sense to us. So you're right. This is what I mean. This is personally a subjective call. It is a qualitative call, meaning what you think will be the price and is it worth buying at this price. There is no way to say my thinking is the right thinking, your thinking is wrong. Of course, there are some stocks which are terrible, which everybody will agree on. But by and large, most of these things are subjective. You may think Jyoti Labs is not worth at this price. I might think it's worth it, and that's okay. You don't have to agree with everything my brother says or I say. What I'm glad is that you're thinking, and this kind of thinking is what makes me most happy when I see this positive attitude. So congratulations to you. Same thing with the discounted cash flow. A lot of you think this discounted cash flow is some amazing equation through that we'll understand something. No, it's really not. Discounted cash flow is just like this, what you just said, where you're discounting, depending on what rate of discount you take. My God, it's so loud. What rate of discount you take, you get the price where you think it should be in the future. So if you're very conservative, the discount will minimize the share price and saying it's very expensive. If you are very optimistic, then the price will go up and say is undervalued. So you can have a huge wide range in price shift when you do these kind of calculations. So keep that in mind. And Casual Boy, what did you say? Casual Boy saying before buy a stock, how to know the stock is undervalued, overvalued? With the help of, well, basically the first thing which we look at is the PE ratio. The PE ratio and the history of the PE ratio. If you open Screener, you can definitely see this. For example, you take ITC, for example. Since we are all talking about ITC right now, the stock PE is 26. And if I take the 10-year average of ITC stock PEO, it is also 26. So it is pretty much trading to where it has been historically. So anything below 26 will unlock a lot of value. For example, in October 2020, it was a 13 PE. It was in below 20 PE till all the way till April 2023. That means till 2 years ago, for almost 3 years, ITC was well below its average PE. So it was at discount. So that is the way you look at it. And by looking at that, it will give you far more clarity. Where is my live stream? I lost the screen. So many tabs are open. I don't know where I am. What else is there? I need to do this discounted cash flow screen share. I think that'll be better because a lot of it keep thinking it's something which is great. Indo-US trade agreement, we'll have to wait and watch. We still have no news on where it is, but the British trade agreement is out, and so far that looks good for us exporting our produce to UK. Tata Motors, IndusInd Bank, Ippo consider panna 1 year return. 1 year return waiting for you reply. Example of an idiot. Tata Motors, IndusInd Bank, நீங்கள் கன்சிடர் பண்ணலாம் இப்போ. ஆனால் 1 இயர்க்கெல்லாம் நீங்கள் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ண முடியாது. இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுறீங்கன்னா யூ ஹேவ் டு இன்வெஸ்ட் ஃபார் அட்லீஸ்ட் மினிமம் 5 years ப்ளஸ். 1 இயர்க்கு கம்மியாக இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணணும்னா பாண்ட்ஸ் தான் பெஸ்ட்டு. இல்லாட்டி நீங்கள் கேஷாகவே வச்சுக்கோங்க. ஈவன் கோல்டு மே ஃப்ளக்சுவேட் in 1 year's time. So, you may not see a profit even in gold. So anyway, I think that pretty much covers all the questions. Discounted cash flow, I'm sorry I cannot cover it today with this noise of party massam. I'll try and be in the studio tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be able to talk about discounted cash flow, and I'll definitely do a screen share for discounted cash flow. Let me write that down. And a Screener. Show you how I use Screener also. These two things I'll do tomorrow, promise. I'm sorry I wasn't able to do it with this temple noise and Adi Masam, but I will promise to make it up tomorrow. I'm going to transfer. Okay, Govardhanan Vishwanathan, please ask your RM, through your RM, come and reach me and I'll help you out with the issues you're facing. If your RM is not able to help you, tell them that you spoke to me online on chat and that I've asked you to reach out and I'll help you out. Anyway, other than that, nothing else, guys. Have a lovely weekend. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday for those of you who are young, single and ready to mingle. For us old folks who are pushing 50 with kids at home, it's just another day at work for us. Another day in the office, as they say. See you tomorrow. I'll try to cover about Tata Communications, Tejas, discounted cash flow, Screener, and anything else. Do come to Instagram and drop it there, and I will try and talk about it over there too. Thanks for watching me today, and I'll see you tomorrow.